think we might just go and appeal it, because this doesn't make any sense, right? Like if the bell goes and then stop the fight, why? You know, it's like then it's my time to rest.
As you say there, Rico, people on social media were not happy with the stoppage. Fans, media ringside were very surprised the fight was stopped. How badly hurt were you at the end of that 11th round?
No, yeah, I got the 8 count. It was a good 8 count. It was needed. So, but I felt like because I heard the click, so I like, okay, let's go. We got like 10 seconds. So let's just keep on the move, hands up, and fucking catch the shots. And I feel like that was what I was doing. So for me, like that's why right away when the referee came in, I wasn't dazzled or whatever. I was looking at the referee and like, why are you stopping? Like we're almost there. So it didn't make any sense to me. And then now looking back at it, even the bell went.
Yeah, that's what
so, and that's something he should be aware of. So.
Shocking scenes unfolded backstage as Rico Verhoeven erupted in anger after his controversial defeat, directly accusing Oleksandr Usyk of being handed a stolen victory. In a heated outburst, Rico claimed the referee was paid and the decision was completely unfair. Tension escalated immediately, turning the aftermath of the fight into chaos and setting the stage for a serious backlash against Usyk's controversial win. Rico Verhoeven doubled down on his frustration after the fight, insisting that the referee played a major role in denying him victory over Oleksandr Usyk. He pushed for an appeal and demanded either a no contest or a scorecards review, firmly believing he was ahead. The controversy continues to grow as this statement fuels even more debate around the fairness of Usyk's win.
Yeah, of course mistakes can be made, but then looking back at it, the referee should admit his mistake, look back at it and say like, hey, so it's either a no contest or we go to the scorecards. And I think if we go to the scorecards, I was ahead.
Frank Warren admitted the situation has damaged the sport's image, highlighting how quickly everything turned into chaos after the fight. Even though he did not witness the incident directly, his reaction reflects the shock across boxing circles. The controversy around Rico Verhoeven and Oleksandr Usyk is now growing beyond the ring into serious discussions about fairness and control in elite-level boxing.
Be any more of it, that's for sure. And everybody needs to show some respect to each other. And let's see what the fight where it should happen in the ring on Saturday.
Derek Chisora strongly reacts to the situation, calling the stoppage an early robbery and fully backing the idea that Rico Verhoeven was unfairly denied victory. He pushes for big future fights including Dillian Whyte and even insists a rematch is already needed. On Oleksandr Usyk, Chisora defends him completely, saying he has not lost a step and only looked troubled because of inactivity and ring rust rather than any real decline in ability.
I think it was an early stoppage.
That was an early stoppage. They robbed that fucking guy.
What's next for Rico, do you think?
Okay, huh?
What do you think's next for Rico?
Dillian Whyte. I think Rico should fight Dillian Whyte. Huh?
Yeah, what about the rematch?
They got a rematch. Nah, then, but what's his name? What's the Turkish boy? What's his name?
Cabello.
He won't get his WBC. You know, be unfair. Actually, you know what? Fuck him. Fuck him. We won the rematch.
Derek, was that an off night or has Usyk lost a step?
Usyk didn't lose a step, fellas. Well, you have to understand that. Usyk hasn't been in the ring for a while, so he didn't lose a step. Yeah? So what happened there was just things taking his time. You know, if he's fighting a real boxer, if he fights this guy again next time, he knocks him out.
Do you think he underestimated him?
I think he didn't respect him until he realized he was around, what, around 11?
Yeah.
And he was losing. He was like...
You said they robbed him. Why do you think the ref stopped it?
That stoppage was wrong.
Do you think Usyk will take the rematch?
Eddie Hearn describes a tense face-off that almost exploded into a physical confrontation, showing just how personal the rivalry had become before the fight even started. The aggression and emotion in that moment reflects the kind of bad blood that carried into fight night. That same intensity now connects directly to the chaos that followed the controversial result between Rico Verhoeven and Oleksandr Usyk.
You know, I think when you're getting poked like that in a face-to-face, after a while the temper goes and it's good. I think it's going to be that kind of...
Rico Verhoeven reflects on the controversial ending, explaining he believed the round timing and scorecards were extremely close when the stoppage happened. He shows frustration but also composure, accepting he tried to continue until the final bell. Despite the disappointment, Rico stands firm on his performance and now shifts focus toward bigger fights and a possible rematch against Oleksandr Usyk to settle the debate properly.
I'm very, very close to taking over tonight. Talk to me about that stoppage. Were you aware the bell was going? Did you feel like it had gone? And how disappointed are you with it?
I heard that it was like 10 seconds to go. So I heard the click. Just like keep slipping and sliding and let's try to get through it, recover, and then fight till the end for the 12. Because I thought like maybe after the 8 count we were like equal in the scorecard. I thought I was a little bit ahead, but maybe because of the 8 count it was pretty equal. So I thought like at least we gotta fight till the end. Even better for the crowd.
From being around you in the media days leading up to this and all fight week, it felt like your self-belief was so strong that you kind of knew something that we didn't. Did that have any part of your success in the fight, that you just knew that you were good enough to get in there with Oleksandr Usyk?
100%. I don't care that the people didn't know, but I knew we had a good shot versus this guy.
People will be screaming about a rematch. I know Ajit Kabaya will have something to say about that. But for you, it's just about the biggest fights, and if the rematch comes, the rematch will come.
It's one of the biggest fights. Showed that I can fight, that I can box. So
Blue Blood Sports TV delivers a strong emotional reaction, repeating that this was one of the worst robberies ever seen in boxing history. His frustration highlights how widely disputed the outcome has become across the boxing community. With such strong claims coming from analysts, Oleksandr Usyk's victory is now under heavy scrutiny, and the debate around fairness continues to intensify.
If you didn't watch, you missed the biggest robbery, one of the biggest robberies, if not the biggest robbery in boxing history. If you did watch, you witnessed the biggest robbery in boxing history. This was the most diabolical, gut-wrenching, disappointing situations I've ever seen in the sport of boxing.
Wade Plemons gives a highly emotional breakdown, calling the fight a complete robbery and questioning the credibility of boxing itself after what he witnessed. His reaction shows how deeply this result has shaken fans and analysts. Even though Oleksandr Usyk secured the win, the controversy has now grown into a wider debate about whether boxing truly reflects the best fighters in the world.
Bro, I've just seen one of, if not the biggest robberies in boxing history. It just went down in the Rico Verhoeven-Oleksandr Usyk fight. And I'm saying that right because Rico Verhoeven was going to win that fight. He was going to win it. And the referee robbed him. This is an all-time panic button embarrassment moment for boxing that I won't soon forget. I hope that none of you soon forget. We just saw a flat-out ski mask bank robbery because the supposed best boxer in the world, in Oleksandr Usyk, just got taken to the woodshed in his own sport by a guy that had one boxing match and yes, is a world-class kickboxer, probably best kickboxer to ever live, but waltzed into the sport of boxing and almost took everything from Usyk and from the sport. We may need to have a conversation about the sport of boxing in general. That's where I'm at right now. Not just because of the blatant robbery that just happened, but also the sport in general. Have we been lied to about this sport? Have we been sold a bill of goods on the sport of boxing and what actually is versus what is perceived? Are the best in boxing really even the best? I'm telling you, I'm questioning everything.
Ariel Helwani delivers a detailed breakdown, strongly criticizing the stoppage and arguing that Rico Verhoeven was denied a fair chance to finish the fight. He highlights timing issues, scorecards, and refereeing mistakes that he believes changed the outcome completely. His analysis adds serious credibility to the controversy, intensifying global debate around Oleksandr Usyk's victory and whether the result truly reflects what happened inside the ring.
I'm fired up, and I'm afraid I'm going to say something stupid if I'm being honest with you. Truth be told, what we saw this afternoon in Egypt was an absolute disgrace. I can't believe Rico Verhoeven got robbed like that. It's the same old story. It's the Francis Fury fight all over again. Everyone mocked these guys. Same thing with Francis. The boxing media, the boxing fans said he had no chance. It was a sham of a fight. All this, he's gonna roll right through him. You can't just walk in. Where did this guy come from? He's a debutante. He's an amateur. And I still maintain till this day that Francis Ngannou won that fight. At least in the Francis fight, he was allowed to go the distance. At least he was afforded that respect. Rico wasn't afforded that respect. In case you missed it, the fight is stopped with 1 second left in the 11th round. But in reality, if you actually watch it, and I've watched every single video, every single angle, it was seconds after the 11th round was over. Ding, ding, ding. And then it stopped. And it wasn't like, oh, stopped in between rounds. No. It was stopped maybe because the ref didn't hear it, or maybe because he's incompetent. I don't know. Mark Lyson is his name. It was an absolute awful stoppage. They showed us the scorecards. 2 judges had it tied going into the 11th. Would have been a 10-8 round. 1 judge had Rico up. In the end, he would have gotten robbed by the scorecards. I had him up like 3-4.
Ryan Garcia acknowledged that Rico Verhoeven gave Oleksandr Usyk real trouble with his awkward and physical style, making the fight far more competitive than expected. However, he also leans into the controversy, suggesting the round may have already ended before the stoppage. His comments add more doubt to the timing of the decision, but he still respects that Usyk got the official win inside a chaotic and disputed ending.
Ryan, what do you think of Rico tonight?
Rico fought his ass off, man. He had the style that it was very confusing for Usyk, and gave Usyk a lot of problems tonight. But it was an awkward fighter, but Usyk got the job done. So.
Do you think Rico should have been allowed to continue?
I believe that the round ended, in my opinion. If I'm telling the truth, I believe the round ended, and I don't know. I don't know why the bell didn't ring. I think it was like 10 seconds left, and then I don't know. But yeah, that's how it goes. The stoppage, it's not my job to say if the ref did a good stoppage, but I thought
Peter Fury openly calls the stoppage premature, stressing that Rico Verhoeven still had time left in the round and could have recovered fully. He highlights Rico's disappointment and strong desire for a rematch, which is already gaining serious support. Despite the criticism, Fury also gives credit to Oleksandr Usyk's performance, recognizing his greatness while still backing the idea that the ending leaves major questions unanswered.
Listen, I'm sure Mark Lyson's a nice guy and he does everything properly. We're all human. He's probably just made an error there. Definitely a premature stoppage because it was the end of the round. He's got a full minute to recover and he's on his feet. So yes, it's a very poor stoppage, especially when he was in the fight as well.
Spoke to Rico and he's not happy with putting up a valiant defeat. You can tell he's genuinely gutted. He said he's going to push for the rematch. Is that the direction you'd like to see him go? Turkey al Sheikh seems keen on the rematch, and when he puts his mind to these things, they tend to get done.
Look, we'd love the rematch, and he's a great champion, Oleksandr Usyk. And let's not take anything away from his.
Oleksandr Usyk admits just how close and difficult the fight was, reflecting on how he genuinely believed the scorecards were still competitive heading into the later rounds. His words show both pride and relief, but also hint at how much pressure he was under from Rico Verhoeven's relentless style. Even in victory, Usyk acknowledges this was not an easy night, which adds more weight to the controversy surrounding the fight's ending. Rico Verhoeven explains the confusion around the timing, suggesting the stoppage came at a crucial moment when only seconds remained. He expresses frustration but also accepts the referee's authority, even while questioning the decision. His comments reinforce the idea that the ending felt unfinished and controversial, leaving fans debating whether he was denied a fair chance to reach the final bell against Oleksandr Usyk.
To the stoppage, They read it out as 2 minutes 59 of the 11th round. I guess you believe that that stoppage was after the bell had run, right?
I don't know. At least it was close. So, and then if you see it is close, I mean, the referee also heard that it was just the last 10 seconds. So just let it go. Let it go, or let me go down, let me get like knocked out clean, or let the bell go. But like I said, it's not up to me, and I gotta respect everything what the box organization decides, and the referee, he's the one making the decision. So.
Peter Fury continues to defend the idea that Rico Verhoeven should have been allowed to continue, emphasizing that only seconds remained before the bell. He believes the stoppage denied Rico a fair ending and possibly a chance to recover properly. His stance keeps the controversy alive, while still acknowledging Oleksandr Usyk's effort in a closely fought and highly disputed battle that left many unanswered questions.
I knew it was close, but I was more interested in my man doing what he was asking him to do, to try and secure the win.
What did you think of the stoppage? Because a lot of people thought that, he should have been afforded time, considering how, it's a world title fight and it's very much close to the end of the round and it's going to the final round.
Well, it should have been left go on because he only had seconds left and he was on his feet and he was trying to throw back. So even if the referee would have come out, he would have got to the end of the round. And a minute, and Rico can really recover. So, we'll never know.
Oleksandr Usyk opens up with raw emotion, showing how deeply this fight affected him beyond the ring. He talks about his family being in a bomb shelter and still supporting him, which adds a heavy emotional layer to the whole situation. That alone shows the mental pressure he was carrying into this fight. Then he shifts into full honesty about Rico's style, admitting it was something new and very difficult to deal with. Usyk does not hide behind excuses here. He clearly states that he needed a knockdown in the final round to secure victory. That is a big admission because it confirms how close the contest actually was. Despite all that, he still respects Rico's performance and credits his preparation. The way he describes the fight shows a champion who has been pushed harder than expected, forced to dig deep in the final moments to stay ahead.
My family, my daughter too, bomb shelter sent me message, Papa, I love you, you win. I afraid.
Liam Goff focuses on the uncertainty surrounding the scorecards at the moment everything was stopped, and that uncertainty becomes the main controversy. He points out that even with a less experienced or less trusted judge, Rico was still competitive enough to win multiple rounds heading into the final stages. That alone suggests this was not a one-sided fight at any point. His comments also highlight how thin the margins were, where even one judge potentially having Rico ahead could have completely changed the outcome. There is also a subtle criticism toward judging quality, implying inconsistency in how rounds were being scored. The bigger picture here is that the fight was not clearly dominated by either man, and the scoring debate only adds more fuel to the argument that the stoppage and overall result will be questioned for a long time.
Scorecards. I don't know at the time of the stoppage what the scorecard said, but surely at least one scorecard would have had to have Rico Verhoeven up. Mike Coppinger, who, let's be frank, he is not really that good when it comes to boxing, but he gave Usyk 2 rounds going to the 11th round.
Oleksandr Usyk opens up with raw emotion, showing how deeply this fight affected him beyond the ring. He talks about his family being in a bomb shelter and still supporting him, which adds a heavy emotional layer to the whole situation. That alone shows the mental pressure he was carrying into this fight. Then he shifts into full honesty about Rico's style, admitting it was something new and very difficult to deal with. Usyk does not hide behind excuses here. He clearly states that he needed a knockdown in the final round to secure victory. That is a big admission because it confirms how close the contest actually was. Despite all that, he still respects Rico's performance and credits his preparation. The way he describes the fight shows a champion who has been pushed harder than expected, forced to dig deep in the final moments to stay ahead. Liam Goff focuses on the uncertainty surrounding the scorecards at the moment everything was stopped, and that uncertainty becomes the main controversy. He points out that even with a less experienced or less trusted judge, Rico was still competitive enough to win multiple rounds heading into the final stages. That alone suggests this was not a one-sided fight at any point. His comments also highlight how thin the margins were, where even one judge potentially having Rico ahead could have completely changed the outcome. There is also a subtle criticism toward judging quality, implying inconsistency in how rounds were being scored. The bigger picture here is that the fight was not clearly dominated by either man, and the scoring debate only adds more fuel to the argument that the stoppage and overall result will be questioned for a long time.
Yeah, listen, he done exactly what he was, the plan was. At the end, he was getting a bit into a fight, but listen, that was disgusting, how they stopped that fight. That shouldn't have been allowed. Listen, for it to be a world champion fight, to just stop it like that. Rico has got one of the best recoveries in the system. Go look at his...
Oleksandr Usyk opens up with raw emotion, showing how deeply this fight affected him beyond the ring. He talks about his family being in a bomb shelter and still supporting him, which adds a heavy emotional layer to the whole situation. That alone shows the mental pressure he was carrying into this fight. Then he shifts into full honesty about Rico's style, admitting it was something new and very difficult to deal with. Usyk does not hide behind excuses here. He clearly states that he needed a knockdown in the final round to secure victory. That is a big admission because it confirms how close the contest actually was. Despite all that, he still respects Rico's performance and credits his preparation. The way he describes the fight shows a champion who has been pushed harder than expected, forced to dig deep in the final moments to stay ahead.